The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Tuesday, the 16th day of May, 2023. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour. Brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House and Lindos. I'm Jamal Hartman. He's Larry Marshall Jr. And Tamara McHale will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break, brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Brother Bert, happy Tuesday.
Yes, good day. Good morning, everyone.
How's things going for you? How was your weekend?
My weekend was rather busy, Mother's Day. So happy belated Mother's Day to all the mothers. So that meant I was doing a good bit of work, as I probably should be, making sure I stay in the good books.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. I know some fellas who think that it's their day, and they, yeah. So, yeah, good stuff. Good. Role models are important on these days. Your son will notice. He'll notice. He'll say, "All right, that's what I have to do." But I'm glad it was a good weekend, and it's I like to call this your kind of month. Bermuda Day, half marathon, heritage, but greetings everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we welcome Minister the Honorable Owen Darrell on. We're discussing Heritage Month and Bermuda Day. So as I stated, this is UN Central's kind of month. I'm not going to say Phil anymore. He ain't played the drums in the parade in about 20 years now, but I think this is a month you two in particular love. As soon as April hits, so what day we're talking about, UN Central. So I'm looking forward to today's conversation to see, if you're on our Instagram stories, you saw the question. We'll get into that today before we even bring the minister on, and go from there. The daily play is a remember win. So as of late, it's been the NBA playoffs. A lot of the questions have reflected basketball. So let's see if we stick along those lines. And folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website for all that we have going on. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with everything. Help us grow beyond the mic as we continue to do our part to improve our community. All right. Don't forget also, if you are subscribed to our website, you would have received an email on Sunday. And basically what we're doing is you can have the opportunity to win one of two remote controls for AC units, courtesy of our friends over at the BAC Group of Companies. So these are compatible with all males and models, can be either mounted or on a wall. All right, so here's how you can win. I'll just explain it once today, because we will call our first name today. So one way you can win is the TDH community members, either through our YouTube channel or who have registered on our website, will be automatically entered into a draw. You'll have to watch and listen to the entire show. So you have to watch this entire show. We'll say a name during the show, and you'll have 60 seconds to respond. And just so everyone knows, it's 60 seconds on our clock, right? We actually have the countdown visible for everybody. So I'm not looking at my watch. Larry's not looking at his watch. All right. So we'll say a name. You have 60 seconds to respond in the comments here. If you do so, you'll receive a gift voucher for one of our partners and be entered to win the grand prize, which will be announced on May 25th. So that's one way. The other way to be eligible is to follow us on Instagram. When you see anything posted relating to this giveaway, you're encouraged to like, share, comment, quote, here. We'll announce one of our most engaging followers as the winner on May 25th. So those are the two ways you can win. So stay tuned to see if your name is called today. Now, that said, let's jump into the convo. What should be done to improve Bermuda Day? But before we go there, we had quite a lot of responses on our, we had a poll as well, right?
Yeah, I saw the responses. Very, very
Poll
well.
was very interesting. And we're going to ask Minister Darrell about that when he comes on. And folks, you know, these polls are not scientific, but it's just people who tune into the show or just follow us on Instagram who respond. So the question was, will you be attending the Bermuda Day Parade? And you can answer yes or no as well, audience. Will you be attending the Bermuda Day Parade? And 43% have said yes. 39% as of right now have said no. And 18% have said unsure. So two ways you can look at it. 43%, more no's and more than unsures have said yes. However, the majority, it's either no or unsure. So that leads to our following question. What should be done to improve Bermuda Day festivities? That's the question today. What should be done to improve Bermuda Day festivities? And we'll go through some of the responses on Instagram, but that's the question for the audience. Now, I think it's a question worthy because I loved one of the responses that I saw that I woke up to this morning, and we'll get into that. One of the responses I woke up and saw this morning was very different from the rest, and I think it's an interesting turn to it. But what are your thoughts? What should be done to improve Bermuda Day festivities? You got anything on this, Bert?
Well, mine differ slightly, but it kind of brings the two major events together, which I think encompasses all the activities, right?
Okay.
Bermuda Day. I am a huge proponent for a much earlier start of the half marathon derby. I'm talking 7 a.m. They're against it a lot of the times because of the public, right? They don't feel like the public would not come out and support such an early race. It happens all over the place. People come out. I think that will then allow for earlier start time, which I think helps with better preparation. It helps with the cleanup. It actually gives us more time for it to be structured rather than a cram. As far as the festivities, past the race, when we go into the parade and whatnot, I think so many people talk about the flow of it or that side. And I can't really get into it because I've never been a huge parade goer. I've been obviously, and then I haven't participated in the parade. I did go last year, and I did enjoy how it went. Where it was a few gaps, but I didn't necessarily notice it. And for the first time in a long time, I really enjoyed it. No, that's post-COVID, first time in a while. It seemed like we was just ready to have anything. I would like for our people sometimes can be very hard. Let me preface that. And I think some other communities in the past have looked to get involved. And you don't necessarily see them all the time anymore. And I think they got tired of the ridicule. Bermuda Day isn't for them, it's just for Bermuda, which I disagree with. So I would like to see those things. So I think if we take a little bit of everything, that may be able to help with some of the festivities.
Interesting. A lot. I like what you said. If you make one slight change with putting the race, the half marathon earlier, it can actually impact the entire day.
It impacts the entire day. It's actually
I didn't even think of that in how it benefits the runners as well.
yes, it benefits the runners, and I keep saying, we in Bermuda sometimes don't look at worst case scenario. Starting a half marathon in May with possible worst case weather conditions can lead to a worst case scenario. And I think then we'll react. Oh, it starts 9 o'clock now or 8:30. It's too hot, especially coming from
Yeah.
Somerset. The sun's right in your face.
Where's it coming from this year? St. George's or Somerset?
St. George's.
St. George's. Okay. What can be done to improve Bermuda Day festivities? Michelle White says, "I miss our parade being multicultural. Unfortunately, no people heckled some of the overseas nationals, and they stopped participating. We are so cultural and should be included." People were okay.
That's what I was referring to.
This happened when?
Yes, it's been a few times. I've even heard it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
While so many great things happen on that day, we do have a bit of the ugly side and a level of just ignorance or stupidity, even that happens with some people that will shout remarks to people of different cultures.
I honestly had never heard of it, but interesting. Sean DeShields says, "Minimize the excessive amount of body parts being exposed by young people and encourage more cultural diversity that is aligned to Bermuda's history." Well, I mean, I have heard some people say that they're no longer going because of the kind of dance, and people fair enough with their opinions regarding that. Because at the end of the day, you want to give people what they want, and if they don't want to see that kind of behavior, then maybe we need to change it. What should be done to improve Bermuda Day festivities, folks? Let us know in the audience. We're going to go through some of the Instagram replies. So someone said maybe prize money for the best performances. I don't know if they do that already and if they've ever done it, but what I will say is an incentive for participation is always a good thing. I actually love that. I
Yeah.
love that. What are your thoughts? Incentive for best performance, best gumbe troupe or best dance troupe or majorettes or dancerettes, cultural dance, African dance, Portuguese dance, whatever. I think something like that would make sense.
Even the floats, and I'm not sure if the floats get prizes. It may actually, maybe the minister can confirm when he comes on, but I think
Yeah.
that may already happen. But I do incentives will I think in my opinion work.
Yeah, I like that. Someone else says, well, same thing, award monetary prizes to school that have winning floats, extra community service hours. I like that. That's another good incentive. Someone says, encourage more companies, corporations, institutions to participate and submit floats. I love that. I think seeing a XXL or a Chubb float, and a lot of them are doing all this work in the community, working with the environmentalists and so on. I think that could be an opportunity to be a part of the heritage and a change in face of it, right? I don't
Yes,
mind that.
I agree, but I think we have to we have to address the point what Michelle White was talking about,
Mm-hmm.
because I'll be including all with this,
Mm-hmm.
and all means okay, well we can do Chubb because they're putting a good bit of money behind it, or
Mm-hmm.
a title sponsor or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'll be saying, hey, the dancers from a certain community aren't good enough. You know what I mean? So I think
Mm-hmm.
that point still has to be addressed.
There has to be balance. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got partner with the trucking companies to finance the trailers for school floats. So who should do that? The government, are we saying? And then someone says gap activities. Allow the groups to perform and not rush them. That's a tough one because it's like someone's always saying the parade was too slow or too fast. Finding that right speed, right? I think that's what that difficult balance that we're trying to strike.
Yeah. And for as long as I can remember, people have complained at my spot nobody performed. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Like it's always that issue about gaps or people not
Mm-hmm.
performing.
Yeah.
And I don't know how we can really address that.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it from the idea this morning about the incentive base, because you throw a huge incentive behind that really can
Mm-hmm.
help motivate people.
Yeah. Another response, what should be done to improve Bermuda Day festivities on our Instagram story says, be honest about the history of the day. Be honest about the history of how the day started in the first place. Teach that. Well, I know Rashida Godwin has actually spoken about this. And if you have Bermuda Trivia, the holiday edition, that is one of the questions in there. But understanding its connection to the Pitt Report and why the holiday was originally created, Empire Day, Victoria Day, however, you want to remember it. But that is an important part. And that was the comment I said that I found interesting, because the history of it, if you ask most people, I mean, I remember some people playing Bermuda trivia, and people did not know this. There was an argument that came out, right? So I think that is a valid comment in the stories. Another one said, educate residents about the importance of Bermuda to create more willingness to participate. So, and then let's round it out. We have one more. Have float workshops earlier and more often, like start in November. So, I mean, just make it part of curriculum or adult education, not adult education, community education classes, stuff like that. So, what are your thoughts, folks? What should be done to improve Bermuda Day festivities? Kenton Chopper?
The one in TH family, controversial opinion, but I think that Corporation of Hamilton should regulate the spots, charge $100 for a 10 by 10 spot, so there are no tape wars. I partly agree with that. I think the spot should be regulated. I don't think necessarily it should be charged.
So regulating on a first come first serve basis.
Yes. The tape stuff is to me it's getting so juvenile, and people will say it's tradition and whatnot. But again, are we gonna wait for worst case scenario?
Yeah, it's tradition
until
for now
we
until
change it.
somebody, yeah, until it hits.
I've seen a big argument and someone had to leave, but they were very angry, and all you need is that person to react in the wrong way, and then we have a bad situation. And then we'll react and change it, and Corporation of Hamilton will do what we say.
What are your thoughts, audience? Audience, let us know. What are your thoughts? Do you think that it should be regulated, and should there be a charge for spots by the Corporation of Hamilton? Thank you for that, Kenton. What are your thoughts?
Yeah.
I'd like to know what the audience thinks. I'll say this much. I understand Kenton's point. I think what he's saying is let's bring some order to it. I think we all agree with that.
Yeah.
My only challenge with charging, even though $100 seems like nothing to a lot of people, especially when grouped together, is you don't want to price people out.
Yes.
Of something that is for them or by them. You know, I think that's the only concern. I like it. But maybe, and Misha says it right here, this is more or less what I was thinking. A grand, like certain areas, like if there's a grandstand, you know how they have the Macy's Day Parade, like the grandstand area. I think maybe creating spaces where they can be paid, but I don't think, I get regulation. I think, as Larry said, if we don't fix it now, it could be really bad. I mean, really bad.
Yeah. And, you know, it's so interesting. People take a level of ownership on stuff that they don't own. They put that tape on and it's like it's good, and then if you move that tape up, something's wrong. My family's been here for 50 years or however many years, and it's like, but you don't earn nothing. You don't earn this.
Yeah.
So, you know, I would like to see a level of order being brought to it, and just to make the process you know, flow more. And again, others don't look to, like, someone that's new wouldn't come because that is intimidating for them. They come early and they don't notice tape and they set up something that could be bad.
I just see what the cost of a cot match camp has done.
Has gone to,
it's like, yes, in a way you're pricing real cricket fans out of like coming and enjoying it. I don't care what clubs say, nothing but love for both. And I know they have their cost to cover, but you got to admit, you know what I mean, true cricket lovers that may not have $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 to spend for a camp, and you know that's been tradition for them. So I just think we need to be careful when speaking about adding cost to some of the traditions we enjoy. Sean DeShield says significant incentives are given to the best floats, aka companies that perform at John Canoe in Nassau. So that's to the question, what should be done to improve Bermuda Day festivities? Sheikha Reyna says every school should participate and compete with either a float or music/dance troupe. I mean, according to some schools can't even get it right because there's so much politics involved. So, I mean, I get you. I feel you. I love the idea. But so much politics around schools, I just feel it wouldn't be a priority to them. Traveling Charlie says, I think a charge would discourage attendance. She said she thinks it would discourage attendance. She's one who I believe would go. But if you tell us it's got to pay, I mean, I know me. If you tell me I'm going to pay for something I've been enjoying for years for free, I probably would really rethink my attendance.
Yeah. Kenton just goes on to say, I only say charge because I know that Corporation Hamilton will have to use resources to regulate it, just to give
Mm,
further clarity.
yeah. I want to stick on that though, because again, it's I know Larry comes across like the conservative brother on the show when we discuss these things about law and order, right? But he's right. Like we don't, what I don't like to see is us acting like, oh, it's just people act being people with Bermudian heritage until something bad happens. Think about it.
Yeah,
All it and we speak about this all the time. All it's going to take is somebody who's under the influence of something. You took up my bleeping tape. My family's been.
yeah,
And again, I'm being very serious. I mean, we may come across like the grumpy guys or whatnot, but no, we're talking prevention, and that's
yeah,
something we don't discuss enough in our community. Prevention.
yeah. And as I said, it's a lot of great things that happen on Bermuda Day, but it's just a bit ugly side that's there.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I think it's maybe we have people that's 7 a.m. in the morning doing whatever time. We got you 10, 11, 2,
Mm,
and they come back and they see something's going, and it just let's just avoid it. Let's
yeah.
regulate it somehow.
Mhm.
Cost, I'm just not up in the air for because we don't want to be priced out.
Yeah, indeed, indeed. Ebony Souza says, regulate it for sure. Otherwise, how a new family is going to start their own tradition? Can't ever get a spot. Yeah, this is true.
Exactly. Yeah.
Michelle White says, people already have spots labeled since 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
Maya
yeah.
Palacios says, it's very high school. Like, get up from the cool kids table. Laverne Tucker. She says, yes, regulate like camping permit. First come, first serve, a site, but no charge. So this is an interesting conversation. I think, Kenton, you might be onto something. Charles H. Jefferson II says, I look forward to the day when Bermuda Day is celebrating our independence. Well,
Oh, wow.
Charles,
Okay,
I mean,
Charles. Yeah.
you going back to that comment we read from Instagram story about the real history of Bermuda Day. But we don't like to have those conversations. We celebrate other things, Charles. Kenton Trot says people have now escalated to using spray paint and markers instead of tape. Someone is now going to have to clean it off.
Yeah.
Is there graffiti fines in Bermuda? Like, can people be charged with what's that called? Not graffiti, it's vandalism. Like, that
I
would be
don't know.
considered vandalism if you don't have permission.
Kenton
Misha
might need to
says,
help us on that.
yeah. Oh, yeah, Kenton. Yeah, please. Misha Fablo says, is the parade broadcast, I think, live streaming? It can help those who can't be street side in the sun all day or overseas. Yes, it is. Well, it was the last few years. I've been watching it. Last time I was at the parade was 2019, the year before the pandemic. Last time I was actually drinking alcohol in public, too. But I've watched it on CITV via YouTube the last couple years, last year, and I believe the year before when it returned. So willful damage is the charge in Bermuda, says Kenton. All right, folks, we've got a news break to have. Again, we've got the Minister, the Honorable Owen Darrell, coming up. We're talking about Bermuda Day Heritage Month, and we'll take some of your suggestions, like what can we do to improve it? A lot to discuss with him. Before that, we'll have Tamara McHale coming in with the news break. Don't forget, there's going to be a 60-second countdown, and someone's name's going to get called today for a chance to win one of those remote control AC units. All right, stick with us. We'll be right back with the news break.
Good morning, everybody.
Greetings, Tamara. Tell me something. Do you have like a Bermuda Day, like a Jamaica Day, like down there? Like,
we have like Heritage Month.
okay.
Yeah, and that's during the period where we normally celebrate like all things regarding our heritage.
What's Heritage Month for you?
Pardon? Oh, so
When is-
Heritage Month is actually in October.
Okay.
However, like we also celebrate like Jamaica's history during independence and emancipation, which is in August.
Gotcha.
Yes.
We don't have one of those, Tamara. We don't have one of those.
We have Emancipation Day.
Is Emancipation Day a holiday there?
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
actually one of the first countries, if not the first country, to actually have a day observing emancipation. So,
Oh,
yeah,
really? I didn't know that.
but we don't have the I word though. We don't have the I word. Yeah,
One day. One
What?
day I'm hopeful.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Don't get me go with the new. Don't get me started on the I word, please, please.
Ah,
No.
dear. All right,
Yeah.
no, I won't. I won't. All right, so let me head into the news. Good morning again, everybody. This is the Daily Hour News Break for today, Tuesday, May 16, brought to you by the People's Pharmacy. So we start off with news from yesterday's press conference by the Bermuda Police Service, of course, on the hit and run killing of noted footballer Marco Warren, who, as we know, was killed early Sunday morning. And according to Inspector Kenton Trott from the Roads Policing Unit, he identified him as the man killed in the accident. He also urged the occupants of the vehicle involved to come forward and again pleaded with anyone with information to report to the police. Here's a quick snippet from that press conference.
As a new father, Mr. Warren would no doubt have been planning for a bright and successful future with his young son, just as his own father did with him. Sadly, that will now be a dream unfulfilled following the events of last Sunday morning. While I cannot go into detail, I can confirm that investigators are following specific lines of inquiry in relation to this matter, including the review of CCTV footage. That notwithstanding, we are again appealing to members of the public who may have information on this incident to get in contact with us. The investigating officer is Constable DeForest Evans of the Roads Policing Unit. He can be reached on his phone number at 717-0860 or the main police line at 295-0011. You may also call the Independent and Confidential Crime Stoppers hotline at 800-8477. Of course, if you'd prefer, you can also share the information with a police officer that you know. To the driver and occupants of the vehicle that was involved, we are appealing to you to do the right thing. Make yourself known to us. You did not do the right thing at the first opportunity, but you still can help ease the pain that Marco's family is dealing with at this difficult time. How would you feel if it had been your loved one lost in such a manner?
I just want to reiterate what Inspector Kenton Trott just said. I think that sums it up. How would you feel if this happened to one of your loved ones? And if you feel nothing, then I mean, I don't even know what to say, what kind of human being you are. Again, sincerest condolences to the family, friends, the community. I broke last night, man, reading the PHC tribute to Marco Warren. And everyone, when someone perishes and they just speak to the incredible person that someone was, obviously, the name from football, but just speaking to the incredible person that he was, it's very sad. So, as everyone and anyone else in the community should be and would be doing, is if you know something, please just give the family that peace at least.
I agree.
Certainly. And as you just mentioned, Jamel, the tributes indeed have been pouring in for Marco. Among them, actually, is the Minister of Youth, Culture and Sports, Senator the Honorable Owen Darrell, who is, of course, going to be on the program in a bit. And in a release yesterday, he noted that it is a profound and tragic, devastating loss for the community. He also said, quote, Marco's untimely passing hits us very hard, as he was a beloved member of our youth and sport family, working within our organization as a youth mentor and program leader. He also said he was a humble and kind young man, and their hearts are heavy. And of course, he said he was an incredible Bermudian footballer and a rising talent who left an indelible mark on the sport. Of course, as you mentioned, the Bermuda Football Association, BFA, and the Pembroke Hamilton Club, PHC, have also paid tribute to Marco. And a statement from the Bermuda Football Association said it is with great sadness learning of his passing, because they noted as recently as April 2023, he was voted as the Player of the Year, MVP, for the third time during the BFA Awards ceremony. And they said he was a true icon of the game, both on and off the pitch.
Yeah, again, sad, very sad. And folks, just speak out. Send the WhatsApp forward that's going to bring someone to justice and give this family peace.
Yep.
All right, so we're moving on to some other regional news. So here in Jamaica, the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres is actually currently in the island on a 2-day working visit, which began yesterday. So speaking at a press conference yesterday with Jamaica's Prime Minister Andrew Holness, he noted that they discussed, among other things, anxieties growing in the region about the shocking levels of violence in Haiti and the political instability there, with Jamaica and the United Nations amplifying their calls for action and calling for countries that have the resources to intervene. They also discussed issues facing small development countries, including the need for reform of the international economic and financial system and climate change, among other topics.
Conversations that are necessary for the region.
Yep. And finally, some Caribbean countries have been reporting increased cases of dengue fever, with 4 actually under the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC Watch Level 1. So the CDC, in an update recently, made note that several countries in Central and South America, as well as Mexico and the Caribbean, are at risk for dengue or currently have dengue. And so travelers there should protect themselves by preventing mosquito bites. So currently the 4 countries in the Caribbean on that list are Cuba, Dominican Republic, Guadeloupe, and Martinique. So if you're traveling to any of these countries, try and be careful.
So Zico was a few. I haven't heard of this one in a while, in years. So interesting. That'll be coming back. How's the weather looking today?
All right. Well, in Bermuda, the weather, you're going to have lots of hazy sunshine along with a bit of winds. You should have a high near 22 degrees Celsius or 72 degrees Fahrenheit. And here in Jamaica, actually, they're reporting scattered showers and thunderstorms. I'm not seeing that yet, but across most parishes today. But yeah, it is partly cloudy. I will admit, but I haven't seen any showers yet.
So her trademark. Well, in Jamaica, it's sunny. No trademark today, folks.
Yeah,
Bermuda's not.
Yeah, I will say in Bermuda, the humidity is starting to get up. And Tamara, if you're not sure about Bermuda, we may not have that raw heat, but the humidity gets right up to almost 90-95% sometimes. Which
sweating when you come out the shower.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's why you need your AC.
Oh, yeah. See, folks, you hear her. Stay tuned. 60-second countdown's coming up. What you got for days of the year?
Days of the year. Today is drawing day. Break out your pencils, pens, crayons, and create something and support charities that ensure that children around the world have that same chance. What's drawing? Stick drawing?
That's my drawing.
I always wish I could draw. Nobody can see that, Jamal.
You can't see my drawing?
No, I can.
That's you, Larry. That's you running.
Okay.
You don't like my picture of you, bro?
No, I don't.
Cool. All right, on that note, Tamara, thank you so much. Folks, don't go anywhere. We've got the Honorable Minister Owen Darrell coming up. We're discussing Bermuda Day, Heritage Month, and I think he's tuned in. He's seen what some of you have said, some feedback. So let's see if he's going to use it to make your holiday a bit better. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Get ahead of the summer heat with BAC's pre-summer sale on air conditioners. For a limited time only, you can enjoy a 15% discount on Loratac and Cooper and Hunter AC mini-split AC units, 2 of the most trusted brands in the industry. Plus, with financing options available, you can make your purchase even more affordable. But don't delay, this offer is only valid through May 31st or while supplies last. Whether you're looking to upgrade your home or office AC units, BAC has got you covered. Stay cool and comfortable this summer with BAC.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level.
Her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dendy Town Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. Larry Marshall Jr. I am Jamel Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Folks, please don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com, and follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. We are going to have the Minister, the Honorable Owen Darrell, coming up, but the first name we're going to call is Marcia Bradshaw. You have 60 seconds from now to respond here in the comments. We have no Marcia in the audience, folks. This is the only way you can be eligible to win. You have to be tuned in. You have to respond here. Maya tried to help you. She said, run, Marcia, run. Marcia, you are here after the 60 seconds. And you said, hey, not here. Maya's sticking up for you. Should we give it to an audience? Yes. Or, you know what? We're going to make the minister make his first hard decision. We're going to let the minister decide whether she should be included or not. Look, this is what.
And not right away. Not right away.
No,
you gotta wait. She's gotta wait.
Yeah. Let's put it on him, folks. Let's give a warm welcome as we do. Warm TDH welcome to the Minister of Culture. Hold on.
Youth, Sport,
Culture, and Culture, Youth. The Minister Owen Darrell, folks.
Yeah.
Oops, that's the wrong one. We're not giving him chimes. Here we go.
Oh wow!
My apologies.
Good morning, Jamal. Good morning, Larry. How are you?
Greetings.
Good.
We're a little bit shook up this morning, but we're here. Welcome to the show. I think this is your first time actually doing the Daily Hour. I know you've had conversations with Maya. We're gonna ask you the question a bit later. Whether Marcia, she'll have to stay tuned in. Everyone in the audience seems to be in favor of Marcia receiving it. And then, she's committed the greatest sin just now, and her sister's probably under her, type of
in the prayer book.
Just based on what she's typed right here, I would say no, Minister. But and then Sherry Vanderpool, I guess you know her. She says, Minister Owen, this is Uncle Roger Daddy. I don't know what this is about. all that to say, Minister, we're going to put it on you a bit later. But before we get into all of this, we're here to talk about Heritage Month, Bermuda Day. Before we get
Can you
into that,
clarify the name of the ministry first?
Minister of Youth, Culture, and Sport, right there, right?
Thank you.
Look, that's a lot. It's a tongue twister, you'd admit, right? It's not like it's the Ministry of Finance. But anyway, let's get into the convo. Speak to us about you've been in the position about 6 months now, around 6 months. Just speak to us about what you have enjoyed most about being the minister, and what's it been like for you so far?
Well, thank you, Jamal. What I enjoy most is that this ministry allows me to do what I think I do best, and that is to get out into community, communicate with people, speak about the history of Bermuda. I know when I first started, there were a couple that always asked the question of ministers, well, what does that minister know about this ministry? So I'm happy to say and happy to show with my support of all the aspects of this ministry, whether it be youth, because I was an educator for 15 years, whether it be sport. I've played sports.
I think we're having Wi-Fi challenges with the minister. He's frozen. So I think we're having some Wi-Fi. Minister, sorry, we had some Wi-Fi challenges. You froze for a good bit after you said you had been an educator for 15 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's, my brother is a president of a sports club. I support Cleveland County, and I was a social studies teacher, so I'm well versed in everything that comes with this ministry. So I've just been happy to get out and support all of the aspects of the Ministry of Youth, Culture, and Sport.
All right, he just had to throw that Cleveland County thing in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll see you this summer. Bayless Bay all day. It's Bermuda Day this month, but most of all, it's Heritage Month. Just explain from a personal point what Bermuda Day and Heritage Month means to you, not just as the minister, but as a fellow Bermudian.
Well, as everyone knows, all of my friends will know that Heritage Day is my favorite holiday. I was not a fan when they changed it from May 24th. But nonetheless, it is where it is now, and I support it. But Heritage Day has always been my favorite holiday, just with the floats and the color and the camaraderie that Bermudians come out and enjoy. So it also is, as people say, the unofficial start to summer in Bermuda. So it's something that I've always loved, and this year will be a little different how I celebrate it, but I'm looking forward to celebrating it as the minister responsible for culture.
I still call it May 24th.
Yeah.
The theme for Bermuda Day this year is a Bermudian Renaissance. What does this mean?
Well, a Bermudian Renaissance basically means that Bermudians, as you know, have always been resourceful. We've always had to be resourceful, whether it comes back to when we were whaling or shipbuilding back in the day. And Bermudians have always, as we see in sports, punched above our weight. We have creatives that are on the world stage and are getting their name out there. So we're happy to celebrate a Bermuda Renaissance this year, and we're looking forward to having an awesome time moving through the streets of Hamilton on May 26th this year.
Mm-hmm. So how many entries do we have so far, and how can those interested and participate and register? I'm pretty sure that's passed, right?
Yeah, registration is passed, but if you are set on being in the parade, please reach out to BermudaCulture.bm or culture.bm, and we can definitely put you in the parade. But I'm happy to announce, Larry, that we do have an increase in participation from last year. The numbers is something that we hold very close to our chest. As Bermudians, is like to know, well, how many participants is it? And it's before, or when people hand out the programs the morning of, you will see the lineup. But I don't want to disappoint anyone, so I'm not going to give you a firm number. But I am delighted, as I said before, that the numbers have increased from last year.
Yeah, because people like me, if you give a number, say 52, I'll be out there counting. I'll be like, there the government go again telling us lies. He said 52 and it's 51. I'm that guy. Yeah, I'm like that.
Yeah. So there's a flyer going around about Bermuda Day Fund. What is that?
Hey, I'm so happy you bring it up. So As you were discussing earlier, we've asked ways how can participation be increased in the Bermuda Day Parade. And what we have done in talking to the stakeholders of the parade is ask them, some groups have not been in a few years, and you say to them, well, why don't you enter the parade? You may note that there's a remarkable decrease in the amount of floats that are in the parade, and people come and they tell us that the cost to actually put on a show for Bermudians on Bermuda Day is becoming cost prohibitive. Let's take a dance group, for instance. You have a dance group that have to rent a truck. You have a dance group that have to rent a DJ. They have to get their costumes. They have to find a place to rent space to practice. And once you add up that cost, some groups have said, look, we just cannot afford to do it. So one of the first things I did, and we heard about planning in November, one of the first things I did when I walked in was say, what can we do to increase participation? How can we assist the participants? Long back and forth is how government can actually, solicit funds. We decided to partner with the Bermuda Fund. And if you go to Give Bermuda, I think it's givebermuda.org, you can actually donate. And even personal individuals can donate funds, even small donations. Someone gave a donation yesterday of $70. Companies have been putting donations in. And I will say that I'm a little disappointed that other companies have not come in and donated quicker, but we have time. And this fund is set up so that the funds here can go directly to participants in the Bermuda Day Parade so that they can underwrite some of the costs to put on a show for us. So it's something that I'm happy that we were able to do. And I'm hoping that this can be a start that will show that, we are looking to assist participants in putting in their groups.
Folks, if you have any questions or comments for the minister about the parade or Heritage Month, please send them through. You're quiet this morning, but if you have any questions or comments, but Minister, I just want to follow that up because, I've said this for years to multiple premiers that I think the government of Bermuda, my personal opinion, Larry, you've agreed with me on this lately as well. I don't think the government should be the ones giving funding. Like, whether the government's broke or not, I think that it should be coming from the business sector. The challenge with that is, and I know you have BEDC and other group organizations that teach people how to do it. We've had this about athletes, for instance, teaching them how to go about seeking sponsorship. I think maybe something can be done where we're teaching various clubs and organizations who have participated in the past of how to go and seek their own sponsorships. So someone may have said it in the responses last evening on our Instagram stories, but if you're a dance troupe and the cost of the truck and uniforms and things are more expensive, can we be allowed to go and get a private entity to say, oh, sponsor our such and such ONK dance troupe brought to you by whatever? But are there limits to those kind of things, or is it regulated? How do you monitor it?
Absolutely. And that is exactly why we partnered with the Bermuda Foundation, because when I did seek this and I said, well, why can't I'm not going to call a name, but why can't a private business donate directly to, let's say, Bermuda Dance Academy? And the businesses came back and we did meet with them. And they said that with their charity policy, there's different regulations that they go through. You have to be a registered charity. You have to have certain benchmarks that you meet. And the reality is many of these groups that participate for May 24th are not registered charities. They're pop-up organizations that love to dance on this particular day. So the companies were not comfortable donating directly to a group like this. So we partnered with the Bermuda Foundation. It took some time, and we found a way that businesses or companies can be comfortable to donate their funds to an organization that does this, that know that their money will be safe and it will go directly to the funds that it needs to go to. So, we've done this. Hopefully it builds next year, but it's difficult. I mean, someone, if I can, Jamal, talked about trucks and can we partner with organizations about donating their trucks? I can tell you that, if I can call the name, a company like an Island Construction has long donated their trucks. But the issue with that is that you've got to pay a driver to actually drive the truck. So, a company would say, no problem, I'll donate my truck, my flatbed. But then the organization still has to raise the funds to, pay a truck driver who's going to drive, for 12 hours on his holiday. So sometimes in that case, it's not even about money. It's just about, how do you find someone who is going to want to give up their holiday to, drive a booming box of music.
I just want to go back because I'm still stuck. And if you tune into this show, you know how I feel about charity and businesses. It's really about, how it makes a business look and this and that. I think we need to change that cultural mindset in terms of saying we're not going to support this dance troupe because they're not a registered charity, because they're not a charity. They're an organization, they're a club. They exist to give young people an outlet mostly. That's not going to be a charity. So maybe it's on the private sector to change the way they donate their money, or does it not benefit them and their taxes to give to organizations?
Well, I think it's about they want to protect their money, and I think that's the way how they see to do it.
And that's that. But let me finish my thought on that, because that's where I was going. Literally, all you have to do is, if such and such organization is, let's say, Larry and Jamel's Gumbe Troop, right? Look, we got a lot of young people. The uniforms are going to be this price for 20 Gumbes. We're going to need the this done for the thing they hold up front, whatever. You break it down and it comes out to $8,000, right? They don't pay you. You filter it where they're paying the companies that you're using so that they know where their money is going. That to me eliminates, well, where's the fund going? Is it going in somebody's pocket and it's keeping it? I get the concern, but there's ways to do it. And I think I'm going to be harsh on the private sector right now, because again, no disrespect to you, Minister, but your government's broke. Let's just call it what it is. I'm a firm believer, and Larry and I have talked about this on the show over and over and over. There's Dage Miners, right? I think it's Jair Mitchell, the Scrambler. Like, the private sector should be rushing to support these young men. And just like this parade, I see opportunities where these participation in this parade is an outlet for a lot of young people to actually be a part of something and celebrate it and cheer it on by the community. No, private sector, this is over to you. Sorry, I'm done.
And Jamel, and I would just like to reiterate, if anyone is hearing this and has the ear of someone who would like to donate, it is givebermuda.org. And we're taking all donations so we can give directly to these organizations. And like you said, I'd like to say that the names that you called out come to my ministry for support as well through the sporting department. And if we can undercut a lot of this cost from our budget to support dance groups, then we will be able to have funding to support other athletes and other organizations. If we may, so it's givebermuda.org. I want to pivot to the conversation you had about gaps. Gaps in the parade. And this is a conversation that if you talk to 5 people on Church Street and you talk to another 5 people on Church Street, they will have difference of opinions. And then if you talk to the actual participants, they will tell you that they need gaps because one dance group does not like to have their music clash with the other dance group. As you would know, a shout out to my classmate, Tawana Lee, who's the leader of PHC Majorettes. She will tell you that, it's hard on a hot, sunny day walking through the streets. So their dance groups need a break so that, Larry, your family members can get a performance in front of them. So it's a lot of nuances that go together. And if you had seen, and I'm going to shout out to our director, Dr. Kim Dismount Robinson, also Ms. Carlita Lodge, who leads up this parade, they've tried to come up with unique ways to entertain the crowd through these gaps. So that's why they happen. I also want to talk about competition. There's some groups, and I'll use an example like the Gumbes. The Gumbe groups want to promote unity. So they actually don't want a prize for which Gumbe group performs the best. They want it to be unified. They want to say, you know what, this is part of tradition and we're all a unified front. But that's the issue on gaps and the flow of the parade. Some people feel that the parade moves too fast. Some people feel that the parade is moving way too slow. So it is a delicate balance that we try to get with that. So there are a few surprises in this year's parade, and I think that the public will be very entertained and happy throughout those gaps.
Yeah. So just to follow up, because I found it very interesting this morning during the discussion when the topic of incentives came. I agree that it doesn't necessarily have to go competition wise, but sort of incentives, like maybe the announcements can happen post, like obviously pre-parade you can do the floats and whatnot, but post parade you can do maybe the groups. But I also want to touch on a comment that I really think that can get help. Sorry, Mishka Fablo actually talked about streaming, and I know I want to tie it in. They stream possibly. I've seen it streamed on Front Street before, and I think currently it's on Church Street when I last remembered, right?
Yes.
But I think us putting it in that ending central location with a performance and maybe set up an art park in that stadium like atmosphere where we can then possibly add a fee to it can kind of help take it to that next level. Is the ministry thinking about something like that in the future?
I will tell you this, Larry. Every year, the ministry takes suggestions from the public, and we weigh out the pros and cons with it. When you talk to the stakeholders of the parade, which are the participants, they will tell you that it's very difficult where you place certain things because you have in a lot of cases you have young ladies or young people who are participating in this parade, and if you put a viewing stand towards the end of the parade, you may not get the best performance due to just simply exhaustion. I did like a comment that Misha made earlier about possibly putting a grandstand like on Front Street at another location. That's something that we will look into. I will say publicly here that we have had individuals that have lobbied me to try to move the parade route. And I've had family members that say, don't you dare move that parade route because our spot will be compromised. So, every year we sit down and we go through a postmortem. What did we do right? How can we change it? And with thousands of people lying in the streets, as Jamal, you would know, Larry, you would know, you are never going to get everything right. I mean, Larry, think about you winning the May 24th Derby. I'm sure there were people that maybe before you won it or after you won it will give you all sorts of strategies out how to run the race, and they'd never run before in their life. So
they still give me strategies.
So it's one of those things. And let me talk about spots real quick because I'm going to give a tip here. This is giving me a tip. There's actually one place in Hamilton where you can still find some spots, and that is right at the beginning of the parade, between where I call it Old Boys Point area and the Birdcage. That is a spot where all participants are coming right out of the gate fresh. And it's kind of one of those areas where there are many spots available. So if anybody wants to go to the parade and you haven't been in a few years and you don't want to deal with tape wars and things of the like, you can actually look down in that area, and it's a lot of open space in that area to watch the parade. And I mean, it's a good thing that our event, our signature event of the year, is so popular, but we do want to make it an enjoyable experience and not some of the some of the potential uproars that you were discussing earlier.
Yeah. So you talked a lot about the parade. What's this year's parade route?
This year's parade route will be exactly the same as last. It will start on Front Street, down past Bay. It will come straight down Front Street past the what we call that, the flagpole. It will turn left onto Court Street. It will go to Church Street, where it will turn left again on Church Street, past Marketplace. It will then turn right and head straight down to Cedar Avenue, and it will end at the junction of Marsh Folly and Dutton Avenue. So it's exactly as it was last year. I will say, and I've said it earlier, I'll say it again, we have been lobbied to change the parade route, and it's something that we are strongly considering. And we may actually move it kind of on a rotation basis, but that's something that we'll hear about more in the coming months. But as for this year, it will remain identical to last year.
Larry mentioned something earlier, and I just wanted to know if the ministry had any involvement in this, but how having the run earlier on in the morning could impact the entire day and make for a better experience overall. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, believe it or not, I mean, it's a suggestion that I'm sure that Dr. Gina Tucker and her team will take on. We actually don't have any involvement, or you'll be shocked to hear, any collaboration with the run. They're treated as two totally separate events, from the perspective of our ministry. But I'm sure that is something that will be discussed in the coming months as well.
All right. Interesting question from Traveling Trotty. She's asking, has the attendance for Bermuda Day changed, increased, or decreased? Do we track the numbers?
I could only assume she's talking about the participants.
She said attendance. She said attendance. Yeah.
I mean, it's not something that we track. I mean, you have to kind of eyeball it. But for the walks that I make, I'm always astounded that every single spot, every single inch of sidewalk is covered from start to finish. So I would venture to say that attendance is still where it's always been.
Interesting.
If you get a couple of raindrops, you may get a couple of people that might decide we're going to stay home. But I know I can take my parents, for instance. They'll stay home, and they'll get out for the run always. But based on the weather, they'll make a decision whether they are heading to watch it or not. But no, that's not something that we typically have the resources to track other than just an eyeball test.
Yeah, there's no in and out entrance, so I would think that would be difficult. Before you go, are there any events during Heritage Month that people should be aware of outside of Bermuda Day that they can attend, and where can they find information on these?
Absolutely. The full Renaissance calendar is on culture.bm. We are more than halfway through Heritage Month, and I just want to say some of the astounding. We had a cultural conference last year at the iconic Spinning Wheel Entertainment Complex, and that was by design. We are trying to get back into the North Hamilton area, and kind of an all-encompassing with our ministry. There's the Bermuda Arts Council are having their awards this week. You would have seen that last week, Friday, we did give money to youth organizations, and there's the Heartbeat series that's going on at the end of the month. There's Creative Live. So yes, go to culture.bm and you will see a full calendar of events. It's almost a different event that may pique different individuals' interest every day of the week.
All righty, Minister Owen Darrell. Thank you so much for the conversation. I'm sure people will see you on the road. Which Gumbe troop you following?
I am always following all of them, but I'm not sure if I'm supposed to
political.
The politics came right out, right?
No, I will give you a team, just like I will be happy to tell you that my cup match team is Cleveland County. But True. I will also let you know that Place's Gumbe troop has always been my favorite Gumbe troop. Mr. Andre Place, who's a very close friend of mine and supporter, gave me a whole history of Place's Gumbe troop last year. And even before hearing the history, I kind of gravitated toward Place's Gumbe troop. But I will tell you this, that since being in this ministry and connecting in the community, all of the Gumbe troops are unique, and they all are obviously a favorite of mine.
I'm not one to give advice, especially to politicians, because most politicians don't listen. But anyway, one thing I want to say, this comment came through from Silas and said they have corporate policies that state that they can only fund third sector orgs that fit within their specific policies, and that was to what we were talking about, the private sector. My hope is that ministers like yours can actually make some headway with the private sector, so that it's not all on government. Regardless of who the government of the day is, I think that governments are supposed to create policies and legislation so that people can have the opportunity to get sponsorship, not actually the government doing it. So that would be my only request of your ministry and the government, is to really find ways to train people and help people to and to close that gap between the private sector and, you know, those in positions in sports and culture, entertainment, to find opportunities to actually go and do their thing. Because the more I learn about athletes and special talents not having the support, it does concern me. And government just cannot pay and help everyone. So thank you for the job that the folks in the industry are doing, and looking forward to watching a great parade on CITV myself. Thanks for stopping by, and I'm sure we'll talk again before Cup match.
Thank you, Jamel. Thank you, Larry. I appreciate it.
No problem.
All right.
All right, Minister Owen Darrell, folks, if you appreciated the conversation, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. We had one name called. We didn't ask the minister, so I'm going to say he would have said yes, give it to Marcia. We forgot to ask him. I'm not going to do it.
I would say yes. I'm feeling
Yes?
good today.
I didn't want to put the minister in that position after all. I didn't want to, I would have told him say no, because to share a sister. But he says yes. He says yes backstage, folks. Do not go anywhere. We're going to come back, remind you how you can win. We've got the daily play for you. Again, if you appreciated the conversation with the minister today, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Don't go anywhere.
Get ahead of the heat and save 15% on Lortec and Cooper and Hunter AC units during BAC's pre-summer sale. Financing is available and the offer is good through till May 31st or while supplies last.
Hi, welcome to ER Fisheries. I'm Jalen Steed, store manager and chef, and I'm here to help you with all of your food needs. Let's talk about why you should come and check out ER Fisheries. We offer the widest range of specialty meats and seafood items at a price point that will absolutely fit your budget. As a chef, I'm able to answer all of your food questions, help you come up with meal ideas, and generally guide you in the right direction. You'll get a custom shopping experience unlike any other food store in Bermuda, where we'll cater to your needs and provide you with excellent customer service. Where else can you get quality cooking advice and quality products? I look forward to helping you with all your meal ideas.
Bermuda, get ready for the official summer starter. DJ Rusty G presents Flag Invasion. A sunset edition. Much more than just a party. This is an outdoor festival happening Saturday, May 20th at Port St. Catherine. Doors open at 6 p.m. 3 stages, one epic event featuring an all-star lineup of international entertainers. DJ Rusty G.
Yo, Rusty G here, inviting everybody out to Fort St. Catherine. It's gonna be crazy.
Just Jay.
Yo, what's up, Bermuda? This is Just Jay from Barbados. May 20th, I will be on your shores. It's all about Flag Invasion.
Ricky Platinum.
Yo, hear me say no. From here to voice, you don't know, so Ricky Platinum at top. Bermuda, May the 20th, Ricky Platinum live.
DJ Quest.
Yo, Bermuda, check you. DJ Quest from the 268 Antigua. I'll be there May 20th for Flag Invasion.
Shep Beats.
Yo, what up, Bermuda? This is DJ Shep Beats, the London governor out of Barbados. See you guys real soon at Flag Invasion.
And Fire Away.
Yo, it's your boy Fireman. Flag Invasion, I'll be there.
Also featuring Bermuda's finest DJs, Mr. Genius, DJ Ibreeze, Marky T, Young Gun Sound, DJ Maestro, Jim Brown, Corey Miners, E.T. Flavor, DJ Young Sai, DJ Derek, and DJ La Jefa. Get your tickets online right now at djrustyg.com. Sponsored by Cox for Rum, Stoli Vodka, Wicked, and Caribbeer.
All right, welcome back. Thanks again to the Honorable Minister Owen Darrell for stopping by for the conversation today, folks. Please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share the conversation so that people know what's up this Bermuda Day and Heritage Month. Also, hey, you never know. They do pay attention. He was honest before we came on air. He said, he read the comments about what feedback. And as he stated, they take the feedback seriously. So folks, give your contribution, send it. You may come up with the best idea for Bermuda Day going forward. Thanks again to the BAC group of companies, Medicals, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to have these conversations on a daily basis. It's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia. Now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. Larry, are you ready?
I am.
All right, it's a remember win. All right, this is a very easy one. Help him out, folks. He won't need your help. He's going to play with me, and I'm probably going to block him. What year was LeBron James drafted into the NBA?
Yeah, it's actually I know he's on. 2003, 2002.
It was 2003, man.
Oh, okay. I know
Playing with me,
2003.
man. Playing with me, bruh. Playing with me, bruh. Hey, I mean,
But you gotta give me the. I need that faster. That's what Sancho was talking about before. You gotta be on with the, with your sound effects, man.
I'm worrying about you guys, man. I actually was hoping that somebody in the audience would say something and throw you off, but they didn't come soon enough. Anyway, let's wrap it up. Final thoughts on today's show. Obviously, pretty much all about Heritage Day, Bermuda Day. By the way, you running Bermuda Day?
No, I'm not right.
Okay.
I thought you was gonna let me eke it out over a few weeks, get the comments going. I started to try and train in January. My training was going a bit much, and then I got a little calf injury, and it just didn't work out for me. So hopefully next year. I have a plan. I'm in the gym strength training, trying to get everything strong before I actually try and put the load on the roads.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So for today, definitely Heritage Month and the festivities. I think, it was very interesting to have the conversation with the minister because it tied in with both. And I'm pleased with what they said. I know a lot of the workers in the department put the energy and time, and they actually are receptive to what the public has to say. As long as it's very, constructive and not just a complaint. I think sometimes people just come back with, well, do it yourself. And at the end of the day, it's like, no, I wish not to participate, but that I can still say I want a quality performance. I myself still would like to see at some point where the streaming is, like that staging area, whether it's Front Street, even the City Hall area, just thinking of different places where it possibly can be done. But again, just wanting to see everything to make the entire day as it results to the festivities better.
Yeah. I'll say this much. I think the truth is, no, you're not going to make all the people happy when it comes to fast, slow, whatever. I think there's so much more. The holiday has a lot of potential. Unlike many others, I would like it to become our Independence Day celebration. But until then, finding a way to celebrate all that and who we are, I'm good with that. I think Heritage Month is almost a failed opportunity. I think the way that Americans treat Black History Month, that's how I'd love to see us treat Heritage Month, like our opportunity to truly learn about Bermuda. I've never seen it that way. I think, to me, it's always been about the actual day, but I'm happy to see that the ministry is doing stuff and has different events throughout the month. So props to them. My hope is that we have another great year incident-free of Bermuda Day. And I'll say this, between now and Bermuda Day, I have so much respect for the people who participate, because it's usually a hot day, and normally we wouldn't walk that road on a normal day. So to walk it, to entertain fellow Bermudians, hats off to you. Happy to hear there's more participants, and looking forward to a great time for Bermudians to enjoy their culture and their heritage on that day. You got some daily inspiration for us, Bert?
Yes, sir. Today's daily inspiration is brought to us by ER Fisheries, and it's from Anne Lamont. Almost everything will work again if you unplug it for a few minutes, including you.
Well, my IT guy, he retired, but he showed up yesterday, and I'm telling you no lie. Anything goes wrong with your computer, just shut it off, shut it back, turn it back on. You'd be surprised how many times. But the truth is, what the end of that quote is, sometimes we have to unplug, rest, and then come back. It's not just computers. We're humans, and we face those same things. Folks, please don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Folks, also, I saw some stats yesterday. Half of our audience, you're not subscribed on our YouTube channel. Half of you who watch on YouTube but not subscribe, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Trust me. Also, if you want to be like Marcia and be eligible to win on the AC remote control units, then you have to register to become a TDH community member on thedailyhour.com, or you can just join, hit the join button underneath the YouTube video on YouTube. Folks, thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medical Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. He's Larry Marshall Jr. I am Jamel Hartman. My friends, please do make it a safe and a great day. We are out. Peace.